Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Becoming Relentless. I am your host, elenoa.mccabe. I'm an IFBB Bikini Pro and an online health and fitness coach. And today we are going to answer some questions. So to everybody who asked me a question 30 minutes ago, I love you. Thank you. I appreciate you. So let's dive right in. Question number 1. I was told if you had an ED, don't compete, it'll get worse. Is this true? I think it should help. So if you have an active, ongoing eating disorder, I don't think that competing is a good idea at all. The reason being, competing is extreme, and you are going to be validating your eating disorder. You're going to be controlling food with an excuse of under the guise of bodybuilding, under the guise of prep. So if you know that you have an ED, if you've suffered with an ED, if it's on and off, back and forth, if you've never been diagnosed, but you know that you struggle with food, I would not recommend prepping, competing, going into any sort of diet at all, because it's going to teach you that when you get the urge to control food, when you get that urge or that voice in the back of your head, that you're going to lean on prep. And the reason why I don't think this is a good idea either is because prep can actually exacerbate issues. Prep can actually make things way, way worse, because controlling your food, restricting your food, binging, all of that can happen during prep. It will happen post-show, and it just sets you up for a longer struggle. So typically, and this is me as a coach, so take that with a grain of salt. As a coach, if somebody tells me that they have an ED and they're struggling with food, we are going to fix your relationship with food first. And fix is not the right word. We're going to explore your relationship with food. We're going to dive deeper, and we're going to find ways to improve your mindset around food and figure out what the root issue is. And I've talked about this on previous podcasts. I'll go back and see which podcasts, and I'll link them in the show notes. But I've talked about my own struggles with restriction, with binge eating, with post-show binging, with all sort and Danielle, who used to co-host with me, and Cecily. So if you go way back, if you go to November of 2022 when we started the podcast with me, Cecily, and Danielle, we specifically did an episode on eating disorders in the bodybuilding space and how bodybuilding can make it worse. Bodybuilding will teach you proper portions, will teach you how to track your food, will teach you how to fuel your body appropriately. But if you're coming into bodybuilding with that lens of food is bad, I restrict food to control my body, I use food as a tool to punish myself, any of those, it's going to be an extremely difficult journey. And more than likely, number one, you're not going to have a good prep, and you're not going to have a good post-show. You're going to burn out, and you're going to hate bodybuilding. So fix, improve, change, ask for help with your relationship with food first, and then think about prepping. Okay, question 2. Do you think Bikini will keep evolving, or will they put a stop to the standard? I think that Bikini will continue to evolve, but I don't think that evolution means bigger. So I do think that in recent years, yes, bikini girls are getting more jacked. They're allowing bikini girls to have more muscle, specifically in the delts and the glutes. But I don't think that they are going to reward mass monsters in bikini. I don't think that that will ever be a thing. I think bikini evolving is going to be more so refining. Maybe they start rewarding, calves to quads to glute ratios. Maybe now we need to really start focusing on our calves. Maybe it does matter. Maybe they start rewarding a kiss of muscle in the core. Instead of having just a flat core, they like the aesthetic of a little 6-pack or whatever. And these are just things I'm making up off the top of my head. So don't think that that's what's going to happen. But I'm just giving an example of evolutions that I think could happen. I do think that the sport itself, bodybuilding, is a sport of constant growth and evolution, but growth doesn't have to mean like muscle growth. It doesn't have to mean mass. It can mean growth or change or evolution in different ways. So I think that they're always going to adhere to the criteria that they've set. It's just the bounds of that criteria with which they'll play with. Okay. Third question, why does libido drop or go away during prep, or does it vary person to person? So it comes down to biology. The reason why is because when you are not eating enough food, so food is energy, food is fuel. So your body, when you're eating an adequate amount, your body feels safe enough. I'm trying to describe it in like layman's terms. I don't want to get too scientific with you, but essentially, if you think about it from a biological perspective, if you are not eating enough food, the hormones in your body are going to adjust to save more energy. Things like, having sex, hooking up, are not deemed as like needed activities when you're in a deficit. So if you're not eating enough food, if you're doing a lot of cardio, working out, getting steps, trying to focus on sleep and recovery, which are all part of prep, the last thing that you are going to feel like doing is expending energy on hooking up with your person. I want to make sure that I don't get banned on platforms, so I'm trying not to say but biologically, like especially as women, one of our main biological roles on this earth is to reproduce and recreate. Like we are biologically meant to have children, grow and have children. If you're not eating enough food, your body doesn't have enough fuel to grow new life. Therefore, the hormones that are responsible for your libido, for your sex drive, are going to drop. Your interest in sex is going to drop because you're focused, like you have a goal. So it does vary person to person. It also depends on like your environment. Like it depends on the relationship that you have with your partner as well. It depends on your relationship to prep. I don't really want to give anecdotes here. So I'm trying to think. I will just say like it varies person to person. Of course, there are some people that I've talked to that say they have no issue. Like it doesn't affect their romantic life. It doesn't affect their libido like whatsoever. And then I've talked to other people who are like, yeah, no, it goes away like as soon as I'm 12 weeks out. Like I don't want to be touched. I'm focused, like I have my goal. So I think it really depends. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with it dropping or with it not dropping. I think it just depends on the communication and the level of like open, honest, vulnerable communication that you can have within your relationship. Because I think the biggest way to avoid prep causing issues within your relationship is going to be being able to tell your person like, hey, I have this really important goal that I'm striving for and it's time sensitive. And I would appreciate your understanding and your patience during this time as we navigate this together. And you guys can come up with a solution that feels good to both of you. And there's going to be some compromise, right? But like that's part of relationships is like being able to navigate and communicate and compromise. I also have done an episode on this. So all of these questions that are being asked, if I feel like there's a Becoming Relentless episode that's important that answers it more in depth, I'll link it in the show notes below. And also, if you're listening to this and you just want to DM me on Instagram, my Instagram is elenoa.mccabe_IFBB Pro. Just DM me like, hey, I'm interested in hearing the episode about X, Y, and Z. I'll send it to you. All right, next question. Do you think suit color matters? Yes, 100%. Yep. It matters at the higher levels. The lower that you go, the less it matters. Same thing with like posing, like what I talked about in my last episode. On the NPC level, on the NPC stage, your posing, presentation, your suit, yes, it's important to a degree, but more importantly is going to be your actual physical physique. Like having the foundation of muscle, having the conditioning, having the symmetry and the balance. Those are going to be more important than, having 100% correct posing. Like, you can mess up your posing on an NPC stage and still win the overall. You can wear a suit color that doesn't necessarily flatter your hair color on an NPC stage and still win the overall. I think that suit color matters to an extent. I also think for you as the athlete, you should wear a suit color that makes you feel good. If you're wearing a suit color that you're just like, meh, that you could care less about, then it's going to translate. Like, you want to be wearing a color that you love, that you feel confident in, that brings out the best in you. So like, there's nothing wrong with finding and picking a suit color that like you love, even if it's not necessarily like what your coach recommends or whatever. And I think that could be seen for like women who wear black suits. Like, black is not a color I would ever recommend to any of my clients. I don't. But if I had a girl say, I want to wear a black suit, it's what I'm going to feel most confident in, please, can I wear black? Like, who am I to tell her no? She's going to feel the best in it. Okay, cool. Suits are $500, $600. Like, I want you to wear the color that you want to wear. Now, obviously, if it's an horrible color, if it's not a color that's going to work on you, I'm going to tell you that, but I'm also going to say, do what you want. Like, if you're, a lighter skinned blonde and you want to wear a yellow suit, I'm going to highly discourage that. I'm going to say you shouldn't wear yellow. But if that's what you want to choose, it is your choice 100%. If that's what you're going to feel most confident, just know that yellow is going to clash with your hair. It's going to clash with the tan. It's not going to look as good as, another suit color could. So I feel like I'm getting long-winded. Yes, I think suit color matters to an extent, and I think it matters most the higher that you go. Having trouble in romantic relationship during prep, how can it affect results? Oof. Girl, I think a lot of us can probably agree the support system that you have is incredibly important for your prep. If your partner doesn't understand, if your partner subtly undermines you, if your partner is constantly causing stress, aka your cortisol, to rise, if you guys are constantly getting in arguments, if your emotional state depends heavily on whether or not your partner is having a good day or not, and how that affects how you move and your behavior, it is 110% going to affect your prep. Prep is something that needs to be safeguarded. Like, you have to safeguard your peace, your mental sanity, and you have to have a partner who's willing to at least understand. They don't have to like what you're doing. Like, I get it, because I've coached women who have had husbands or boyfriends they don't like bodybuilding, which it's not my business. It's not my business. It's not my place. However, that husband or boyfriend, even though they didn't like bodybuilding, they still were able to support and encourage their partner in a positive manner, whether that was like cheering them on to go do their morning cardio, making them a cup of coffee in the morning to help them, wake up and get out of bed, helping with meal prep, offering, hey, text me your meal like 5 for the night because you're still at the gym, I'm at home, I will make your last meal of the day for you. Like, those little things go a long way. Not only that, but just like understanding that like, oh, my partner's really tired. Like, she just did an hour of cardio, she trained for an hour, she posed for 30 minutes, her back hurts, she needs to eat her last meal, and then she needs to go to bed as soon as possible so that she can get 7 hours of sleep so that her body can fully recover. Like, let me not pick a fight over whatever small thing I'm angry about. You know what I mean? Because like, prep is such a temporary phase. Prep is 20 weeks. Like, you're with your partner year round or for years and years and years, however long, right? Like, if you're with somebody, they're with you. Like, they should be able to understand, like, this is a temporary phase. This is really important to her. I'm going to support her however I can, even if I don't understand it, even if I don't like it. And I've had that with my family. And they are 100% supportive of me now. But when I first started bodybuilding, they didn't understand it. My mom specifically, she did not like it at all. She didn't like how lean I got. She didn't like that I counted and restricted food. She didn't like how much I had to exercise. It was just too much for her. And she would say little comments here and there. But I'm very stubborn. I'm very strong-headed and strong-willed. So I was just like, I don't care. You might not like it. I'm still going to do it. And over time, like as she saw me do it for years and years and years, and she saw me on stage, she saw how happy the sport made me. She saw how much strength I gained from the process of prep. Then she started to cheer for me, right? Like, then she started to be like, oh, can you eat that? Like, I don't think that's healthy. I don't think you should eat that. Like, like, so sometimes it also takes a little bit of time. Like, sometimes your partner needs to see you being disciplined and telling them, no, I'm not going to eat that, and being consistent with it for them to finally like clock, oh, she's serious about this. Like, this isn't a joke to her. Like, I'm going to support her how I can. Like, sometimes it sucks, but it takes a little bit of time for them to like come around. Okay, let's see. Next question. Is getting implants required if you want to go pro? I'm an AB cup. Absolutely not. So there are plenty of women who are professional bikini athletes without implants. Jasmine Gonzalez, no implants. Laura Lee, no implants. There's, I want to say, no, she might have gotten implants. Basically, no, you don't need implants to be successful. What happens is when you're on stage, you'll probably need to stuff your bikini and you'll need to create the illusion of having something up there. So like typically I recommend competitors like stuff their tops with pillow casing, and then we arrange your top best so that it looks like you have a little something because it adds to the shape with your front pose. But you do not have to have implants. I actually think that it's probably better if it's never been like something on your radar, if it's never been something that you've thought of, like, oh, I want implants. Like, don't do it for the sport. Like, please, it's not worth it. There's a lot of bikini pros I know now who are planning on getting their implants out, and then they'll go compete on stage without the implants. So they're not necessary at all to be successful in the sport. Just to know, most bikini girls get implants done because the process of gaining and losing, 20 pounds every single year, it does affect your chest because natural breast tissue is just body fat. So over time, like, for example, when I was in college, before I ever started bodybuilding, I had C's. I had decent boobs. Then I started bodybuilding and I was flat chested, like absolutely flat, like just negative A's. Because every single year, even if I gained a little bit of weight back post-show, it wouldn't go to my boobs. Like they just stayed flat. And unfortunately, that's what happens a lot of the time. So I think most women, like if you were like me and you did have a bigger chest before bodybuilding, and then you lost your chest through bodybuilding, you just you want them back. Like you want to fill out your shirts again. But it is a very personal choice. And I don't think that you should ever get implants solely for the sake of bodybuilding. Okay, last question. What is the process from amateur to IFBB pro? How do you qualify for that? Yay, great question. So if you're an amateur, you will be competing in the NPC. And what's really cool is they have the NPC Natural League now. So if you don't want to take any PEDs, if you're new to the sport, I highly recommend let's go compete in NPC Natural. And you can work your way up to nationals. So the different levels of competing are NPC, local shows. So that's like shows that are in your city, in your state. Those are all local. The next level up is going to be nationals. So when you hear girls talk about, I'm competing at nationals, they're talking specifically about 8 shows that are done during the season where you can qualify to go pro. In order to let me back up though. So on the NPC level, there's 3 different classes. Well, no, there's way more than that, but just for the sake of this conversation, there's true novice, which means you have never competed before. So first-time competitors will compete in true novice. And then there's novice, which means you're still a newer competitor. You've competed before, but you haven't won your class. So let's say that, you step on stage for the first time ever, you do true novice and you do novice. If you win true novice and you win novice, then you can't compete in novice anymore. So then let's say, okay, cool, you win True Novice and Novice, then you do a second show 2 weeks later. You can only compete in Open. So there's True Novice, Novice, and Open. Open class is you've competed before, you've maybe won your class before, like you're not new to this. Open is what it sounds like. It's the open class. For bikini girls, we go by height. So, class A will be 5 foot and under, class B will be like 5'2" and under, et cetera, et cetera. I'm 5'5". I was in class F most of the time. So in order for you to qualify for nationals, you need to win the open class at a NPC qualifier show. So there's some NPC shows that are not national qualifiers. Most of them are. So you need to check the show that you're doing. Like let's say it's the NPC Long Beach Pre or something like that. It will say on the poster, it will say on the promoter's website, national qualifier. If it's a national qualifier, you need to get first or second place in your open bikini class. So if you're, let's say, you're 5'5", you're my height, you're class F, and you win your class. So you placed first in class F. You are now nationally qualified. My opinion is that just winning your class is not typically enough for you to go to nationals, especially with how competitive nationals is these days, because nationals is all of the winners around the country of their class. So all the girls that are 5'5" that won their class F during the year that qualify for nationals, they can go to nationals. So now essentially you're competing against a higher caliber of athlete. But it depends on your local show, because if your local show only had 3 girls in your class, that's probably not a very competitive show. So you need to use your discernment and you need to use judgment and you need to have a coach that won't lie to you. Even if you win your open class, it doesn't mean that you should go to nationals, and your coach should be honest with you on that. I'm not going to I've never had any of my girls compete on the national stage yet. I've put about 10 bikini girls on stage on NPC shows. We've almost all placed top 3 in True Novice, Novice, or open classes. I've had a handful of people win their open classes, but none of them are on a national stage level yet. None of them. So we're not going to go to nationals because nationals is way more competitive. So on the national level, you're competing against all the other winners in the country. There's only 8 national shows per year. Women will travel in from other countries to compete at national shows. So the competitiveness at a national show is like out of this world. It's insanely competitive. You have to be the best of the best. To go pro, you either need to win your height class at nationals, or there are some national shows where you have to get top 4 in the overall. So you might win your height class, but then classes A through H, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? 6 or 7 of y'all go into the overall, and only the top 4 of that 7 go pro. So it is very competitive, but that's how you go pro, is you win your class at a national show. And there's 8 national shows per year. Most of them are in the summer. The one that is still at the end of this year, the last one of the year, is NPC National Championships, and they're in Dallas. The National Championships is actually where I went pro. It's where Jordan Fisher went pro. It's where Brittany Gillespie went pro. Lizzie Cunningham went pro. I'm sure that there's a lot of girls I'm forgetting, my friends that I met on that stage that we all went pro together. But in 2021, it was in Orlando. So now I'm kind of jealous because I live in Texas now, and Nationals is literally in Texas. But they have one in Charleston. They have one in Vegas. They have one in Texas, Florida. Like the national shows are Pittsburgh. So there's a lot of opportunity, you could say, but like to go pro, it does take a lot. Hopefully that does answer the question. I love these questions, by the way. Amazing. Let me see, double check that there's like nothing else that came through, but I think, okay. I think that that's pretty much all that I have for you guys. Hopefully this was a little bit helpful. I love doing Q&As, but I also know I'm trying to get some guests on so that we can have more conversations like the ones that me and Kate had. I will have Kate back on post-show. She's getting close to her show. She's competing in a few weeks. So after her show, when she's had a little bit of time, we'll have her back on and we can pick her brain about this prep, the show experience, show day, and you can get another perspective on her show experience because I know a lot of you guys really liked that podcast. So as always, thank you for listening. If this helped, if you know somebody who needs to hear something I said in this episode, please send it to them. If you could share, tag me on social media, subscribe, like it, comment. It really does go a long way for me on YouTube and Spotify, just so that I know what you guys are interested in. I know what you guys want to hear next from me. But if you want to talk, if you want to reach out, if you want to work with me, I am taking on new athletes, especially for the 2026 season. I also coach lifestyle, so you don't have to be a competitor. If you're looking to get in shape, if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to build muscle, if you have a wedding, a photo shoot, a vacation, anything that you want a coach's guidance for, I am your girl. So hit me up. My information will be in the show notes below. But as always, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, stay relentless.